So today we are going to discuss ECG changes in a person with acute pericarditis. So we know that pericarditis is the inflammation of the pericardium, and the causes ranges from infection, rheumatic fever, connective tissue disorder, etc. Today we will discuss only the ECG changes, the important ECG changes that takes place in the person with acute pericarditis. So this is the normal ECG having the normal waves P, Q, R, S and T. So the evolution of ECG in a person with acute pericarditis take place in 4 stages. So there are a total of 4 stages. There are 4 stages, but clinically important is the first stage. The important changes that takes place in the ECG of a person with acute pericarditis in the first stage are clinically and practically important, but for academic purpose we will also discuss the second, third and fourth stage. So the first changes, the changes in the first stage. The ECG changes in the person with acute pericarditis in the first stage. So the change is widespread ST segment elevation with the upward concavity. So the ECG would be something like this. So the changes in the first stage is there is ST segment elevation. There is ST segment elevation, and this peculiarity of this ST segment is that there would be a upward concavity. There would be a upward concavity. It is also called saddle shaped rise of ST segment. Saddle shaped rise of ST segment. So there would be a ST segment elevation with upward concavity, which is also called saddle shaped rise of ST segment. And the peculiarity of this ST segment elevation is that it is a widespread ST segment elevation. The ST segment elevation would be seen in 2 to 3 limb leads and in the chest leads, almost all the chest leads. So not only there is a ST segment elevation with upward concavity, but there is a widespread ST segment elevation that involves almost all the leads, 2 to 3 limb leads, and from the leads V2 to V6. Along with that, in the first stage itself, the second change is there is a depression of PR interval. So there would be a depression of PR interval. So as we can, these are the changes. So there would be depression of PR segment, and there would be elevation of ST segment. So if we considered this to be the baseline, so there would be a depression of PR segment plus there would be elevation of ST segment. These are the changes in the first stage. So there is depression of PR segment plus there is ST segment elevation, which is widespread, involving 2 to 3 limb leads and 4 to 6 chest leads, plus there are reciprocal ST segment depressions in AVR and V1. So symptoms, so one thing we have to know that the symptoms are very similar to that of myocardial infarction. So the most important differential diagnosis at this stage would be an attack of acute MI or a simple angina. That would be the most important differential diagnosis, because both the person with will be presenting with retrosternal discomfort and pain, plus the cardiac markers, the CKs, the troponins will also be elevated in case of pericarditis also because of the inflammation of the epicardium. So one has to, during this stage, one has to differentiate between the ECG changes of myocardial infarction and the ECG changes of pericarditis. So the main difference is in the ST segment. So in a person with myocardial infarction, there would be the ST segment elevation would be like this. With a person with MI, there would be upward convexity in a person with myocardial infarction. But as we have already seen, in a person with pericarditis, there would be the ST segment would be elevated, but there would be a upward concavity. So this is how you will differentiate between the ECGs of acute MI and a person with acute pericarditis, because the cardiac markers would be elevated, plus there would be symptomatically the very similar, both these conditions would be very similar. So in acute MI there would be ST segment elevation, but there would be an upward concavity, whereas in the ST segment elevation in case of pericarditis there would be a upward concavity. Plus we have already discussed, there would be a widespread changes. The almost all the chest and limb leads, there would be showing a diffuse, there would be a widespread ST segment changes in pericarditis. But in case of myocardial infarction, only the concerned leads, because the infraction would be to a localized segment, so only a localized set of related leads would be showing this ST segment elevation, whereas in pericarditis, as the whole pericardium is inflamed, there would be widespread ECG changes which will not be present in case of myocardial infarction. So this first stage of ECG is practically important, because with the help of these changes we would be able to differentiate between the ECG changes of pericarditis and myocardial infarction. Then coming on to the second stage. The second stage. So in second stage what we will have is that there would be after several days the ST segment will return to normal. The ST segment will become normal in the second stage, and in the third stage there would be T wave inversions, and in this fourth stage, which happens after weeks or months, the ECG will become totally normal. So there are 4 stages, but clinically and practically important is the first stage. So in the first stage, in the person with acute pericarditis, there would be ST segment elevation with upward concavity that would be widespread and diffuse, plus there would be depression of PR interval. So this is all about the ECG changes in the person with acute pericarditis.